Hey coaches, this is Coach Grant. In this video, we are going to talk about how you can use Airtable to not only provide you a better self-scouting experience and analysis on your data, but also do it in a much simpler fashion. I think we've all gone through the headache of going through all of this data in Excel, right? Writing formula after formula, Googling all sorts of things, and we might find an answer, but are we really confident that that formula is working the way we want? Using Airtable eliminates the need to write any formulas and makes it very simple to input data week after week on your team. Now, in order to go through this video with me, you are going to need a couple of things. Number one is an Airtable account. You should see a link either on the screen or in my bio, which will lead you to creating your Airtable account. Please click on that link and do so before we go any further. You can pause it right here. The other thing we need is going to be a set of data. So for me, I have this Excel spreadsheet with all of my play calling data from this past game. I'm going to take all of that data and simply paste it into my data tab here, into my data table, and it is going to automatically populate and analyze it in these various tables that I have based on formation, plays, downs, protections, so on and so forth. Finally, you do need my self-scout template. Okay, if you have not added this to your Airtable account yet, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do so. Otherwise, this is going to be very confusing. I'm going to create a video later on that will go through how to create your own self-scout database like I have here. But for right now, I highly recommend going and downloading the self-scout template. You can do so by clicking on my Buy Me a Coffee account. While you're there, it would also mean a lot if you would support this channel with any kind of donation or any kind of input really that you feel is earned to help me. You can find the self-scout template on my Buy Me a Coffee account. You can click on the link and it will take you to a page where you will be able to not only find this file, but also if you feel so led to help support. It would really mean a lot. I want to be able to create more videos like this for you, and that would go a long way in doing so. Finally, if you've not subscribed yet, please do so. Like I said, it would mean a lot. I want to continue to create videos like this, and I'd be really interested also to hear about what you guys are struggling with or what challenges I can help with as far as technology is concerned. So please include those in the comments, either on Buy Me a Coffee or YouTube, and I promise I will get to them. So without further ado, let's get started. You can find the link to the template on my Buy Me a Coffee account. I will either include that link either on the page here, or you can find it in the description. Either way, you just simply go to that account, and on that page you will see a button that will allow you to add this self-scout template to your Airtable account. Lastly, before we get underway, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. I want to continue to grow my subscribers so that I can continue to make these videos for you. Also, if you have any input or any questions that you would like me to create a video addressing, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to get your input on what exactly it is that you're dealing with that I can help with, either technology-wise or just asking if I have a solution for you. But without further ado, like I said, please make sure you get the template and you've signed up for Airtable, and let's get started. So now that we're in Airtable and we are into our template, I'm going to walk you through what these different tabs up here are. They're very similar to tabs in a Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheets spreadsheet, but in Airtable, they actually interact, or they are connected through various link fields like the games field here. Like I said earlier, in a different video, I'm going to go through how to use Airtable yourself. So I'll go into deeper how these tables interact, but for right now, I'm just going to walk us through exactly what information is being input here and how that needs to be put into the template so that you can get the analytics you're looking for. So the first thing is data. This is where all of your data is going to be input. Your down, your distance, play call, all of that, once exported from Hudl or whatever your chosen way of tracking that information is. Once you input that data, it will auto-populate the rest of these tables. From data, we're going to go to games. So essentially here, you're going to input your game schedule so that when you put the data in on each and every play, you can tag or you can select which game it was put in or the data is relating to. So if we just played a team on Friday, I would want to put in the team's name and the year that we played them so that when I input the data, I can tag all of those plays with that game so that later on I can come back to the game, go to the grid view, and I can see all of the data from that specific game. Then there are formations, protections, plays, and downs. As you can see in each one of these tables, it breaks out the data or analyzes the play calling based on and breaks it out by the given field. So in here it's by formation, and here it's by the pass protection, and here it's by plays. Plays being what the play call itself was, and then downs being naturally first, second, third, fourth down. Now, you don't have to add anything to any of the formations, protection, plays, or downs tables, because once you input the information from the data table, it will automatically populate all of these with your different formations and such. Like I said, I'll show you that in a second. You're going to think it's really cool. But the first thing we have to do is input our game schedule, okay? Because we want to make sure that we put the plays in such that they are relating back to the game in which they were called. So let's type in a team name. So let's go with team. Let's just go team number 1. And let's say we played them in 2021. And that's all I have to do. Now I have a team name and I have the year. So now I have the information for this specific team that we were playing last, so that when I put in the data here, I can select them as the game. So I'll click on games. And as you can see, team number 1 is now listed. So in a second, what we'll do is we'll put the data in, and then we'll make sure that all of them are relating, all of the data, all of the plays are relating back to the correct team or the correct game. Now that we have our team listed under the games that we want to input the data or the play calling, whatever you want to call it, the information from, let's go over to the data tab. Okay, as you can see under the data tab, it looks very similar to your spreadsheet that you probably just exported from Hudl or wherever. Okay, it has the play number, the down, the distance, the hash, yard line, play type, result, gain loss, offensive formation, formation strength, so on and so forth. I will go over in a separate video exactly how I have my field set up to work perfectly with this template. Now I need to input my data. Okay, so first things first, I need to download it from Hudl. If you have not done that yet, Hudl or again, wherever else you might be using it. If you've not done that yet, I'll create a separate video going through that. But once I have that done, I'm going to go over to Excel where I have all of my data set up. Okay, and this right here, I'm only looking to input. As you saw, I have play number all the way to play direction listed in my self-scout template in Airtable. So I only want the information in columns play number to play direction, right? Because those are the columns that I have included in my Airtable. Now, one thing I have to make sure of about my data before I put it into Airtable is that all of the columns match. If you see here, I start with play number, then you have ODK, down, distance, hash. But over here in Airtable, I have play number, down, distance, hash. So I don't have the ODK in here. You can add it in. Again, that'll be a separate video where I talk about how to add information or add columns from Airtable in. But right now, I don't want to include the ODK because I'm just doing offensive film. So what I'll do is I'll go back to Excel. I'll find any columns that are not in my Airtable, like ODK here. I'll click on the column. I'll right-click and click hide. So now that column is hidden. I don't have a title, so I'll right-click and I'll click hide. And then finally, I also don't have offensive strength. Okay, I don't have this column in my Airtable. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to click hide. Now my data is ready to be put into Airtable. So once I go back to Airtable, okay, I have all of the information laid out. I've entered in the games, and when I input my information, the formations, protections, plays, and downs will all, oh, fuck me, man. Now we go back to the Airtable, and you can see in the data where I'm going to input that information. Only thing is, I bet you're all wondering, well, coach, hold on. You've got your games, you've got the game you want listed, you've got the data ready. How does the formation, protection, plays, and downs, how does that come into play, and how do we input that information? Do we have to go in and input it table by table? Short answer is no. So in each of these tables, okay, we have a field, or in the name field, it'll list out the name of a formation. To the right of that, it'll list out the plays. This is how it links back to the data table. It'll have all the plays linked that where we run that formation. And then it'll have the analytics. How many times was that formation run? Is it strong left? Strong left percentage, meaning like how many times out of the times it's run, how many times did we line up in left? How many times did we line up in right? So on and so forth. And the same goes for the rest of these tables. As you can see, you have formations, protections, as in pass protections, okay, with the number of sacks given up in that pass protection. Again, you can input more information. This is mostly just a starting point for you. The plays, all the names of all the plays you're going to input with the data, and then the downs. So what down is it, and what is our play? How many runs did we call on first down? Things like that. But again, you don't have to go into each and every table and list all of that out. We will do that. It'll do that for you once you paste your data in. So it's probably better to just show you. So we've all seen that all of these fields are blank. Now I'm going to input my data, and it will populate all of those tables with the correct formations and plays. So I'm going to go back to Excel. I'm going to highlight the columns that I want to include. So play number is obviously one I want. Play number all the way to play direction. Okay, play DIR. I'm going to hit Control Shift, or I'm going to highlight my row. I'm going to hit Control Shift, and I'm going to press the down arrow. And that's going to highlight all of the data in my spreadsheet here. From there, I'll hit Control C, which is just copy. You can copy however you want. I just think it's easier to hit Control C. And then I'm going to minimize Excel. Now, in Airtable, I'm going to go over to my play number column. If you recall, play number was the column we started with in Excel. So when we paste it over, we want to start with play number in Airtable. I'm going to click on this first cell. If you don't have one yet, or if you don't have a row yet, click the plus and it'll add a blank row for you. But I'm going to click on play number, and then I'm going to hit Control V, which is just paste. Okay, and then it's going to ask me, do I want to expand the table? Yes, I do want to expand the table, because now it's put in all of my data from the Excel spreadsheet that I just copied. The last step is going to be to tag the game that this data is from. So again, this is all data from my game versus team number 1. So I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm going to select team number 1. Now, all that did is select the first, or is list this play number 5, as a play versus team number 1. But I want to make sure all of these are tagged as team number 1. So I'm going to click on the team number 1 cell. I'll click Control C, which again is copy. I'll hit Control Shift down, which again highlights my entire column. And then I'll hit Control V, which pastes team number 1 in all of these columns, because as we said before, all of these plays are from our game versus team number 1. Now what I'll do is I'll go back to games, and you can see all of the data, all of the plays are now tagged, are now connected with team number 1. If I click on my grid view on the left, I'll see all the analytics, the yards per play, total plays run, pass plays, so on and so forth. If I click on formations, now because I pasted in all that data, it has auto-populated, it has automatically created each of my formations within this table. So now I have all the analytics relating to what formation we did. We ran to the left, how many times we ran to the right, so on and so forth. And the same with protections. As you can see, this used to be blank. Now I have all my protections, my plays, and the downs. See it says 1, 2, 3. I know everybody's saying, where's the fourth down? Apparently in this game, we did not get a fourth down play. So it would not auto-populate because there was no offensive play run on fourth down during this game. But you can kind of see now how the analytics work, how the numbers are auto-populated based on the data or the data that you put in. And yeah, so now this is all done. It's ready for use, and I can now go in week by week, and I can do the same thing. I can add team number 2. And then once I get my data from Hudl, again, I'll say 2021. Once I get my data from Hudl, I'll be able to come in here and add in that data to below here, and I'll have the same analytics from that game as well. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.